Hi, I'm here to clean gutters today and to answer some questions. Why in the world would I be cleaning gutters? Because they need to be cleaned. And answering questions about animal rescue. Well, I had gotten a list of questions from John and Virgil that they say make a video and make it spirited. Thing is, I also had to clean the gutters. I even wrote on this piece of paper a note, clean the gutters, camera 2. So I'm going to combine both my introduction to you and trying to get something done. It's cold out today. Anyway, let's get on with this and the gutter cleaning. Number 1, give us a quick, fun, and energetic introduction. You want energy? I'll be doing energy all afternoon. Tell us who you are, your name, and what you do. Well, it's Clark Burgard. I clean gutters. I also founded Animal Rescue Flights. And I plan transports and raise money and teach the public the importance of spaying and neutering their pets. And I clean gutters. How long have you worked and volunteered in animal services? Since 2008, when I found out the problem of the animal overpopulation. 3 to 4 million animals each year get euthanized. I have owned dogs for much of my life, and when I found out about the statistics of euthanizing animals who are perfectly adoptable, just they need to get to good homes, I realized the magnitude of the crisis. And a lot of it has to do with getting the animals from kill shelters to places where they can be adopted. That's where Animal Rescue Flights comes in. But I'll bet I'm skipping ahead on questions. What got you involved? I had a pilots group, which still exists, and a woman who was putting together a ground transport had contacted me and said, I see that you and your friends fly. I'm trying to transport 2 Kelpie pups from South Carolina up to Connecticut, and we're missing the last few legs of the transport. If we can't guarantee to the shelter that we can transport these animals completely to their destination, they're going to put them down on Friday. Would you consider transporting them in your plane? What a nutty thing. Really? Fly animals and save lives? Yeah. So I immediately said yes to that. Got my friend Bob involved, who owns the plane with me, and so let's do it. And that was the beginning. That was actually the first animal rescue flight before Animal Rescue Flights even started. How about that? Let's toss out a maple leaf for that. Why are you so, is this in the way? Why are you so passionate about helping animals find new homes? Well, meanwhile my dog is down there. You all right? We'll get him on camera later. Because these are perfectly adoptable animals. The problem is that there's too many of them due to lack of spaying and neutering. There's going to be a lot more on that later. What are some of the dangers involved with transporting animals? Well, there's the protecting the animals and the pilots. The animals get protected because they're always flown in crates. We don't fly animals unless they're in their own crates, or if there's a litter of pups or kittens, they'll obviously be transported together with their mom. But we don't transport animals together unless we're absolutely sure that that they get along. And also the environment in an aircraft is different. Fortunately, the sound of engines, aircraft engines, the drone of it tends to sedate them a bit. Most animals just curl up and sleep for the duration of the flight, which is great. Hey, airlines, wouldn't that be great if passengers just did that, curled up and slept for the whole flight? I digress. Anyway, oh, and of course, it protects the pilots, because now you don't have animals who could, hasn't happened yet, but why take the chance, freak out and create a scene at, thousands of feet up when you can't really deal with it. It's not like a ground transport where you can pull over. Don't make me pull this car over. You can't do that with a plane. So the animals transport in crates, and that leaves the pilot free to focus on flying. And also from a protecting the pilot standpoint, we don't schedule flights unless the weather is safe for flying. So a day like today, which is, what are you seeing from there? kind of partly cloudy. Cold is fine, but but if the visibility is low, instrument flight rules, don't do that. Instrument meteorological conditions, nope. Do you focus mainly on dogs, or is the volunteer service open to any animal that is in need of help? Of course, all lives matter. I think that I should get a t-shirt that says that. We do primarily dogs, that only because those are what the shelters have given us to transport the most. But we have done cats, we've done a spotted owl, a chimpanzee, and almost a manatee. I'll bet that's coming up later in the questionnaire also. Oh, what is the most difficult, strangest cases of transport? Okay, the manatee didn't pan out. The manatee would have been, as it turned out, heavier than the aircraft itself, and we would have had to have brought in a World War II DC-3 to do that. That would have been an exciting transport. Thing is, the manatee found his own way back to where he needed to be, and, oh well, missed out on that. But the chimpanzee was a unique flight. The chimpanzee from Maryland was born to a teenage mom that didn't really know how to be much of a mother. Carried it around a little bit, put it down, wandered away. Bad parenting. We flew that chimpanzee at the request of a rescue in Florida. Well, actually a rescue in a zoo in Florida that had a mom chimpanzee that lost her child. So this would have been a perfect mix. So the mom in Florida would have gotten a new baby. The baby who was neglected in Maryland would have gotten a new mom. And the story worked out very nicely. Actually, that would have been a great one for a TV series. What was the furthest you've traveled to rescue an animal? St. Martin. We've done across the country transports. Very, very difficult because they involve fostering overnights. Not word to the shelters. Really, you can't find anyone closer than on the other side of the country to adopt the animal? Try harder. If you really can't, yeah, then call us. How many cases of rescues do you do per week, per month? That totally varies. In the winter, it's not as many. I mean, a lot of these animals come from the warmer part of the country, so the whole temperature thing shouldn't have that much to do with it, but it just seems like more in the warmer months. But it really varies. The number per week and per month is just all over the place. Do you work independently from an organization, or do you work with an animal rescue? Well, I founded Animal Rescue Flights, so yeah, I work with them pretty closely. Would you please go into as much detail as possible from start to finish how rescuing and transporting animals occurs? Walk us through the process. Okay. A rescue, typically down in the southeastern states, gets close to capacity. They have animals who are perfectly adoptable, but they've been there to the extent of their time, to the limit, and they have more animals to come in. They can't take in more animals beyond their capacity, so the ones who have been there the longest, unfortunately, get subjected to euthanasia. To prevent that, they contact rescues, typically in the Northeast, and there are other parts of the country too, but mostly in the Northeast, and request that they take them in. And if it's a match, they'll agree, yeah, okay, we can take them. They come up with a list, and the rescues contact us and say, we have X number of dogs, here's how much they weigh, here's the date that it would be great to transport them. And as long as there's a transport planned, we're not under the gun to do it on any particular day, but we try to do it as soon as possible, weather dependent, then we'll do that transport. So there it is. Shelters need the extra room, have perfectly adoptable animals, or rescues contact us, they make the connection, and we do the transport. We put that together. Boy, that's a nutshell, huh? Are you in touch with local shelters, or is there someone who dispatches these cases and calls to you? Covered in the last question, I think. Do you call shelters in different states to see if they are in need of your services? They find us. Since 2008, they find us. That's like going up to someone and saying, do you need money? Yep, they'll let us know. Are there other pilots that work with you or are involved in rescue flights? 900 plus. If yes, we would love to reach out to them as well. Yeah, okay, get your database ready to go. I got a heck of a download for you. What is the ultimate goal of volunteering? What do you hope to show people? Well, we love transporting animals, but we also want to focus on the importance of spay and neutering. This whole thing is because animals are being born without loving families. You know, there's just too many being born. If every animal born in the United States, or actually around the world, were born into a loving family that was ready to take care of them, we wouldn't be necessary. And as I said at the ASPCA luncheon where we were given our Presidential Service Award in 2010, I said the ultimate goal for animal rescue flights is to disband. We don't want to exist. I mean, we want to do what we're doing now, but we don't want to have to be here. If we disband, it means that every animal born is into a caring family. So I'd love to get rid of this organization, but until then, we're around and we do rescues. But we're also focusing on spaying and neutering. That's the core of the problem. The transport thing is just bailing out the boat. That's just pumping out the water. The hole in the boat is the lack of spaying and neutering, and that is the campaign that we're really focusing on this coming year. Have I made that clear? Bet I have. What would you say makes you uniquely qualified to help these animals? Passion for saving lives, a love of animals, all kinds. Dogs are the ones that I've most experience with personally, but you know, there's so many different kinds that people are passionate about. They're all important. Finally, if possible, film and show us your plane or aircraft. Yeah, here you go. This is what I have to do today. From the inside and the outside, briefly tell us about your plane and why it makes for good transport. And folks, that'll be in next week's installment of Who's This Guy Clark and What Does He Want? Thanks for joining in. I gotta get back to work.